What you guys, got another video here for you on how to automate Windows 11 installation. That means basically you can put in your USB flash drive, boot to it, and it will go ahead and install the whole process without you even having to touch it. So first off, you're going to need to download your ISO image from Microsoft. So go ahead and go to the Microsoft website and download the Windows 11 multi-edition ISO. It's free to download and it's a legit version from Microsoft, so you can use this and install it on any PC that you like. Click confirm and hit the download button to download the 64-bit version. Once you've got this downloaded, we can use this a little bit later on. Next, we're going to need to create our answer file. This answer file is going to have all of the answers that during the installation process is going to be used to skip those processes, so you don't have to manually go in and do these yourself. It's automatically going to know what these answers are because we've got an answer file created. So we're going to use the Windows answer file generator website. I'll leave the link in the video description. I'm going to click on this one here, which is for Windows 10 and Windows 11 UEFI. And you can select which ones you want to select. Inside here, we need to put our location, and you can put some notes in here. I'm just going to put the UK. And I've blurred out the license key here, but you can put your legitimate license key in here and it will create a answer file for that and literally activate it during the installation as well. I've blurred it out because obviously that's the one we're going to be using here. Accept EULA, skip automatic activation. You can see here, skip license rearm and setup language, computer name. You can put in what computer name you want to put in yours. An organization name. You can use whatever you want in this little box here. So set this up how you want yours to be done on your answer file. Again, don't just copy what I'm doing here. You may want to make some changes of your own for your own particular answer file. So let's go ahead and put in this information here. Next up, we're going to go for the regional settings here. Obviously, I don't live in Australia, so I am going to change this to English United Kingdom. So let's go ahead and change this. Of course, this is pretty repetitive, so I'll skip through to the next bit. All of these are going to be English United Kingdom for me. Yours will be different depending on where you are in the world. So I've got these all set now, and I've got my time zone all done and my language. And next up, we're going to do the outer box experience. And again, we can make some changes here. You can see network location. I'm going to be putting home here, but if you're in the workplace, you can check work or other. And again, you can protect your computer, and we can do express settings here, which I'll leave on. Again, hide EULA page. I'm going to say yes here and disable auto daylight time. No. Now, I've also left some of the other ones down here for yes. And again, the control panel view I've left as classic view, and control panel icon size I've left large. Next, we're going to do the partition settings here. Wipe disk. Yes, this means it's going to erase all the data on that disk. So bear that in mind. And install to disk 0, and you can choose which one you want to do here. Main partition active, yes, and we can have NTFS, OS, C drive, and partition order. And you can have this into number 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on how you want to set yours up. Username, there's going to come down to me. I'm going to put Brightech in here, leave it as administrator. You can change yours to whatever you like here. And again, we can then put in some other information here like a password if we want to use that, and you can put the expire date if you want to. I'm going to leave that as false. Auto log on, yes, and we'll leave the other two as disabled. Now remember, you can make changes to this to your specifications or what you need for your system, so don't just copy what I'm doing. You may need to change it to your needs. Now we've got this done, you should now see the output down the bottom, and this is our file. This is going to be our file that we need to integrate into our ISO, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But this is the answer file here. It's quite a lot of information inside here, and I can download it by clicking on the download file. You can also create other ones called features configurer and power plan configurer, and also services configurer. This will allow you to make changes to your features, power plan, and services if you want to. And add these into your ISO if you want to. Let me just show you what they look like. I'm not going to go through it. I'll just show you what they look like so you know what they are. Basically, you're going to be doing the same thing, your location and your features. You can just turn these on or off. Basically, disable or enable. It's that simple. So if you don't need some features, you can disable them, and it will use this answer file to basically turn off and enable what you want in your list if you want to use this in your particular build. I'm not going to be adding this bit in, but if you do, then you can just go through and toggle these on or off and disable or enable. That simple. And it's the same process for the power plan and for the services. So let me just show you. You would come here and you would download this answer file here, and it basically will go into the ISO. I'm not going to be adding these in, but if you do, you can just select all these what you want and then download the file and then just follow along. Let me just show you the other ones so you can see what they look like. Power plan, you can go in here and you can set up your location and set your power plan up to how you like, whether you want the power plan set to balanced or whether you want it on high performance or power saving, depending on the appliance that you're installing it on. So that's the thing to take into account. If it's a laptop, you may not want to use, you know, high plan or anything like that. You may want to use a low saving power plan. And again, you can go through and change all the buttons layout here to whatever you need on your particular install. Once you're done, you do the same thing, download the file. I'm just going to quickly show you the services one here. If you want to mess around with services, you can do. You can customize them. Again, you would put your location in and you'll go ahead and of course, you just make changes for the startup type, whether you want manual, auto, disable, demand, whatever it is you want to set yours to, you can do here. Be very careful with services because some of the features in Windows won't work correctly if they're not to the right setting. So you need to know what you're doing. So if you don't know what you're doing, then leave well alone. Next up, we need to use some software to edit our ISO file. So image burn or any burn software like this can be used. You can use whichever one you like. I'm going to be using AnyBurn and going to go for the 64-bit version here. Download this. And again, this is going to allow me to edit the ISO file that we've got already. So let me go ahead and download this and get the software installed. And this will allow us to edit the actual ISO and put in our files that we've just created. So let's go ahead and get this in. So I'm going to say agree and install. And then once we get this done, we can click next and close and open up the application. Now from here, I need to edit the image file. This is going to be our ISO file. So let's go ahead and click edit. Now we need to locate our ISO image. So let's explore for that file. And you can see our Unattended.xml file. And we have two ISOs here. I'm going to be using my Windows 11 Lite that I created to install. And I'll show you that process in this video. But you can use the standard ISO image from Microsoft if you want to and do it on there until you create your Windows Lite. So let's go ahead and click next. And this is the ISO image here. I now need to put in my answer file here, which is my auto unattend. So let's go ahead and click on the add plus button here. And there it is there. I'm going to click add on this one. And this will then drop this into our ISO, as you can see here. Once we've done that, we can click on next. And what this will do is give us the option to recreate our ISO image with that auto-unattend.xml file inside. So we're going to be using the standard ISO image here. You need to give it a name. I'm not going to use the same name, so I'm just going to put 2 on here or something like that. So I know it's my second one. And then click create now. And this will go ahead and create our ISO file for us. It doesn't take too long. Now, once we get this ISO file, we can then use Rufus to create our bootable USB flash drive. And that's what we're going to be doing next. And then we can install our Windows 11 Lite or whatever version of Windows you are using for your answer file. So let's go ahead and head over here. So you should see 2 ISOs here now. We've got the Lite version and also Lite 2, which is the one with our answer file inside here. Right, so now we've got that done. What we can do next is go over to Rufus and download that software. So Rufus is a great piece of software for creating bootable USB flash drives. You can either use the install or the portable version, whatever floats your boat. I'm going to go with the portable version and use this to create our bootable USB flash drive. Okay, so we've now got Rufus open here. I've got my USB flash drive plugged in. And what you need to do here is we need to select our ISO image. Now, if you're using a standard ISO, which you just downloaded here, you can then create a standard Windows 11 install with TPM 2.0 plus secure boot. This means you can install this onto any system you like. whether it's supported or unsupported. I'm not going to be using that method because obviously I'm just got a supported PC here. So I'm going to be using my light version, which I just created. And I'm going to go ahead and do a standard Windows installation with GPT, UEFI, non-CSM, and also NTFS. And then click on Start, and this will go ahead and say, we are going to wipe your USB flash drive and install this on there. So I'm going to say yes to that, and it will go ahead and create our bootable USB flash drive for us, which we can then boot to and start to install our version of Windows with our answer file. Now, remember what I said, you don't need to engage with it at all. It will just go ahead and install on its own without any sort of clicking next and turning stuff off, because we've already done that with our answer file, and this is the beauty of it. Okay, that is now done, and we can now close the application off, and we can now take it over to the PC. So here's our PC, and I've got my USB flash drive here. I'm going to plug it in the computer, and we're going to boot to it and install our Windows 11 Lite with our answer file embedded in there, so it will automatically install for us. So let's go ahead and select our USB flash drive to boot to it. And once it gets to this stage here, what it's going to do is just kick straight into the installation process, because we have that answer file. And you can see here it's going to go ahead and start to install Windows 11 for us. So I'm going to let this go through. I'll speed this little bit up here so you can see it. And you won't need to touch the PC at all. It's going to go ahead and get all the way up to this stage here and do it all on its own and install Windows 11 for you. So no more messing about, clicking on yes for this and no for that. It's got the answer file. It doesn't need you to do any of this stuff. And this will basically go ahead and install it on our system. I'm going to go ahead now and get all my drivers installed, because there will be drivers that need to be installed on the system. So I've already downloaded this. Now remember, I'm using my Windows 11 Lite version here. So this should be super lightweight and super fast. And as you can see, there is the start menu. Everything has been taken out here. I've got hardly any applications installed on here because obviously it's the Lite version. There is Google Chrome, which I've got installed on here. No Edge or anything like that. That's all been taken out. There's very few programs on here. And I can add these to my little start menu here if I wanted to. I can add settings on here and the programs that I want, and remove all the bloatware from it as well in that process. And that's why I prefer to do it this way. So let me just show you also what it's got going on with the settings here. If you're wondering about all of the privacy settings and things like that that you don't want to have on your system, then they have all been disabled as well automatically. Yours might be slightly different because this is the Lite version that I'm using here, not standard Windows 11 install. So this is the Lite version with stuff taken out of it. So now it's all set up the way I want it. People will be wondering what the task manager is like and whether there's any sort of resources being used on the system. There is no apps on here. Everything has been removed. As you can see, the only stuff that's been installed on here lately is the drivers that I've just installed. And basically that is it. All the other stuff has been taken out. So if you want to see the task manager, let me go ahead and show you this as well. So very, very little bloat on this one. So I'm going to go down to the start button, right click and go task manager. And for you gamers out there that want to keep going on about how you want a really sort of lightweight system so you can play games, I don't think you're going to get any more lightweight than this. Only 56 processes running on this system, which is absolutely madness, compared to 186 or 190 processes running on a standard Windows install. You can see it's dramatically been reduced down, and there's no utilization here. This is on a real working machine. People wanted to see it working on a real system, and you can see here it is working on this PC here. And again, this is a Ryzen 5 3500X 6-core processor, and literally that bottom line is pegged at the bottom, 1%, 0%. Memory, there's your memory settings there if you are interested in that sort of stuff. It's pretty lightweight, as you can see here. And when you're gaming with it, it's going to be silky smooth, obviously, because there isn't any sort of resources being used at all for it. So that just means you can have no background apps hogging all your system resources, especially if you're on an older system. This sort of setup will be ideal for you hardcore gamers out there that are looking for that system that is using very little resources. Windows updates are working. They're set to security updates only. No feature updates will be downloaded and installed on the system. That means it won't be updated to the very latest version. So you will need to keep creating new Windows Lite versions with the latest versions when they get released. Because if you leave feature updates enabled, it's just going to undo all of your Windows 11 Lite version and put it back to a full-blown bloated version of Windows 11. So that is the reason why that is turned off. Now, I did see a few trolls in the comment section talking about how I changed my tune with Windows 11 Lite. My channel is about creating content for people. It doesn't necessarily mean I use it. I don't use Windows 11 Lite. I use a standard version of Windows 11. Anyway, that is going to be about it for this video. I just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who have joined my YouTube members group. I really do appreciate the support. A special shout out for Gary Belts, also Welsh Tony 1, Geo Sam, and Albert Houston, who have joined my YouTube. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.